Tape Deck Media.
Oh, and here we are. It's a brand new issue of Panel Picks, the podcast about New Comic Book Day and beyond. I'm your host, Dan Bublich Jr., and our other host, Jeremy Plum. How are you,
how
Jeremy?
You doing? I'm doing great.
Good.
I'm glad you're doing well. I really
we're like on sync together here.
Yeah. It's been a bad weather weekend out here in Omaha.
I know. Everybody's safe in your neck of the woods. Good.
Luckily for where I was, there was no tornado touchdown near where I lived, but I did have to drive through in order to get home.
Oh,
through some
geez,
pretty
that's
bad.
Scary.
Yeah, it wasn't great. So like I worked, tornado touchdown on 205th and Pacific. I was on 60th Pacific, and so I drove more north to get home so I can make sure the animals are good. It was a bad weekend, but it's good now. Everything's good. Everyone that's not doing okay, here to help, and I hope everyone we get through it okay.
Definitely thinking about everybody in that area, because if you're listening to this and you're not aware of what we're talking about, there were a lot of tornadoes that hit down and around Omaha, Lincoln, Nebraska, that kind of area.
Yep.
So that's what we're referring to. Well, I know before we were hit record, you did some reading a bit. So let's talk about that.
Total 180 here. Yeah, actually, I did get to do some reading. A while back, we talked about Mutiny, Black Girl Magic, the Kickstarter, and I backed it, and I got an email on Wednesday saying that it came out way earlier than expected. So I downloaded the PDF. I've read it at an open mic. You can see a picture of it literally on my social media.
Yeah, if he would have sent it to me, you could have literally seen
it.
It
was like right after I sent you all the stuff. And I was like, well, but it was a blast. The art was the movement was amazing. The writing was great. It's an issue 1, and when you read an issue 1, you sometimes think that it's going to be sometimes a little clunky, sometimes a bit exposition heavy. But no, this was Crystal Adams wrote this fantastic book that flowed, and it was so fast paced. The book was 31 pages, no ads, and I thought when I was I completely thought that when I got to the last page that there was going to be more, and I was aching and ready for more. If you want to read this book, it's down in the bio. You can buy it. And it should be shipped out. I'm probably going to buy more books from their store. It was
awesome.
It was fantastic.
That's great to hear. Well, and we'll definitely include a link in the show notes if anybody listening wants to go check that out, or watching. You probably notice if you're watching, which hopefully you are, because we are focusing on the big change is that we're going to be more of a YouTube show now. We've got a lot more visuals, but that's okay. If you don't have time to watch on YouTube, you can still listen on all the podcast applications. Yeah. But we're going to be doing things a little bit different. I didn't get a read this week. I didn't even get to my comic book shop and pick up my comics. That's on my agenda after this. I got to run down to the comic book store and get my comics.
Yep.
The reason I didn't get there is I've been busy doing stuff around my apartment. If you've been watching this podcast for a while, even listening to it, you probably heard I moved into a new place. And the last few times we recorded, my background was very plain. And now, ta-da, I have a background with, some comic book-esque art. Some of it is prints from Comic-Cons that I've been to. Some of it's, mass-produced art stuff, but it's all cool.
That Secret Origins behind you is a book I really want to get. That's
also a mass origins or a mass produced thing. I'm sure the sign I'm talking about, because that's what it is. It's a wooden plaque type thing.
Oh, is it? That looks fantastic. The colors really pop out on that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. For those that don't know, Secret Origins came out right after Crisis, and it was just the updated origins of like all the heroes. And this one was just, here's all the Batman villains, and there's a really cool, if I remember, that's the one with a really cool Neil Gaiman Riddler story in there, and it's a lot of fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
I haven't read it, so I'll now have to. I found it at a rummage sale for like $5. I was like,
oh wow,
yeah.
Nice. Yeah,
awesome. Can always use some good wall art, which great.
Yep.
Because I've been finally decorating my apartment, so I've got just to hang up some stuff in my bedroom, and then I'm officially done with unpacking and getting settled into my new place. So excited about that.
Awesome.
Well, this is a big week. We have, not only do we have New Comic Book Day, but next Saturday, this coming Saturday, what is it? May the
4th.
Oh, it is May the 4th. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. All that jazz is free comic book day. That's right. The first Saturday of every May is free comic book day. So there's a lot of stuff for that. I highly recommend if you haven't or you don't, you should go to your local comic book store on free comic book day, because a lot of times, a lot of comic book shops will go above and beyond, not just giving out the free comic books, but they'll have other activities. Some I've seen do cosplay contests. Some will bring in guest writers, artists, depending on where you live. You know, there's all kinds of fun activities that they'll do throughout the day. So,
and also, I do know that, like at least at ours in Omaha, we have deals.
So
like a lot of times
sales,
and so like I know at Krypton Comic we have the Pink and Yellow Ranger coming in, and I know at Legend Comics they have Bob Hall, who worked on Avengers and Batman. They have Jeremy Hahn, who worked on Batwoman and the Beauty, and Casper Swan, who worked on Aurora Punk and Midwinter. So I'm excited. It's gonna be fun. I'm probably gonna head to Legends first and have a blast.
Yeah, that's another thing. If you live in an area where there's multiple comic book stores, go to all of them.
Oh yeah.
Well, let's get into this week. There's a lot of fantastic stuff. I went through it. You went through it, and we got a lot of stuff that we're pretty excited about. Most of the stuff that I've included are kind of number ones, just because I think those are the ones to highlight. Because if you're new to comic books, you can get in right at the beginning of these. The first thing that we're going to talk about, this comic looks pretty fun. Bear Pirate Viking Queen.
Oh.
I love the artwork on this, just the cover. It just looks really good, but I really like the description. So it's from Sean Lewis, who writes King Spawn. And it's described as a blood-splattered story of conquest. Bears, pirates, Vikings, and queens, all battling for their claim to determine what the world will become.
Okay.
Yeah, right? That sounds like a lot of fun.
The yawn was ill-placed, but yes, actually that does sound like a lot of fun. I love pirates.
You're like,
and it looks like a blast, honestly. I might be picking that up.
Yeah, and the other cool thing about it is that it is rendered in watercolor. And the artist,
it's not just the cover. Wow.
Jonathan Marks Barava Vekicha. That's a mouthful. That's a mouthful.
It looks gorgeous. I do love watercolor. I love non-traditional comic book art medium. This looks like a lot of fun. This is definitely one I'm gonna have to pick up physically. Yeah.
I'm gonna definitely have to flip through it. I don't know if I'll commit, but I'm definitely gonna flip through it and see what it's all about.
Nice.
And then we got, this is a pretty heavy Marvel week. Marvel's got a lot of stuff coming out this week. Like this book, Blood Hunt. It just when I was looking through what was coming out, it just caught my attention. It really did. The cover did for it's probably that sun coming up over the horizon behind them.
Well, this is their big summer event, Blood Hunt.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right. Yep, the bloodiest Marvel event yet, as they describe it. So this book, the skies have gone dark, the sun is hiding, the sun is hiding its face from the carnage to come. The children of the night, the vampires have risen from the dark and the hidden places of the world as one to drown the Marvel universe in blood. So it sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
And it's going to be, it's a big event. You're going to have Avengers, you're going to have Blade, Bloodline, Spider-Man.
Yeah, there's a
all
Fantastic
kinds of
Four
stuff.
crossover as well.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. I think there was close because also there's going to be some one-offs of some of their old horror books. I know Werewolf by Night's going to make an appearance as a one-off. And I think one of their older vampire books. So yeah, you're getting a lot. I thought I heard, if I remember reading about it, we talked about earlier, there's like 80 books going to be tied to this.
So I'm not a big fan of when they do big events like this. I've definitely been vocal about that on this podcast. However, this one kind of excites me because I like Blade. I like, the vampires and, all the creatures of the night. So will I commit to 80 books? No.
I'm kind of hoping one of two things. I'm hoping it's just a series of one-offs and with maybe a loose connection with some of the bigger books.
Yeah, that would be great.
But like Vampire by Night, I'm probably going to pick up and probably some of the more one-off horror books because Marvel did a lot of their horror books in order to dance around the comics code. It was science vampires. They weren't real vampires. They sucked off with magic or microorganisms in their hand. It was always slightly off of actual vampirism. It depends. I'm kind of excited. I might just pick up the one-off just to see.
Yeah, I might just do the main title. This one. Again, I'm going to flip through it because I don't like to commit to things.
Yep, that's fair.
Yeah, I just one of those things where I'm like, we'll see. If it looks good, if it captures my interest, then yes. But now this is one of your picks. Creating Cobra. This sounds pretty interesting. What is this all about?
Yeah, so what this is I've read the first 5 volumes of Cobra, and what it is, it's kind of like a 70s, 80s Suicide Squad. And they're on a mission. There's also some series of one-offs in there that goes through characters' backstories.
So I read this wrong. I read it as Creating Cobra. It's actually Copra.
Yep, Copra. That is the team of the team name. And so the first thing that will jump at you is the art is sketchy and it's rough and everything is exaggerated and huge. And it's a phenomenal book. I loved it to death. But what's more interesting about it is the book is actually a Patreon book, and he makes it and he ships it out on through himself through Patreons. And then if you want to read the volumes are sent out by Image.
Okay, so this is going to be a volume.
So there's art. This actually is how to make self-published comic. This was him telling people how he made and how he's self-publishing that book that I love so much. And as somebody that loves how comics are made and the history of comics, this is really exciting for me.
That's something I might pick up. I'm working on I haven't worked on it, but I have a couple ideas that I have hashed out a little bit. I just haven't sat down to start writing, but I have a graphic novel or a comic book series that I want to write.
Yeah, seriously, this is going to be, I think, a great tool. I'm really excited, especially since, again, individual issues, there's 40, 50 issues. All of those are made by hand and shipped out. Wow. And it's only the volumes that are made by Image.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, this is really cool. This is what I'm excited for.
Well, yeah, I'll definitely check it out this week too, because that sounds something right up my alley.
Yeah.
We also have Deadpool and Wolverine World War III. With the movie coming out this summer. I'm sure this is going to be a hot book. You can never go wrong when Wolverine and Deadpool are together,
Yeah.
it's going to be a good time. I'll probably pick this up. I don't like pick up. I pick up Deadpool, but not like all the regular series, but some of the mini series like this, I usually get into. So I'm pretty excited about this book, and I will probably pick it up.
Awesome.
Another one that I'm kind of excited about, Get Fury. So Nick Fury has been captured. It's like during Vietnam, and Frank Castle, aka Punisher, is going to rescue him. That's the gist that I got from the description of the book.
And this is Max. This is a Max book.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I didn't know they still made Max anymore.
Yeah, I guess I didn't realize they did either.
Yeah.
But the one thing what's really cool about this book is that Garth Ennis is returning to Marvel for this book. Yeah. With Nick Fury and Frank Castle, as you've never seen. Yep. It's 1971. Okay. There's a war raging in Vietnam, and Nick Fury has been captured by the Viet Cong. At this moment, they don't quite understand that what they have in their possession, a man who knows enough secrets to damage the United States beyond comprehension. The CIA, however, does realize this, and they can't risk the enemy getting those secrets. So they dispatch the most deadly man in the U.S. Army, Lieutenant Frank Castle. So this is even before he's Punisher.
Okay, and Garth Ennis did the Punisher Max books. And I guess that's why it's Max. For those when I say Max, by the way, Max is Marvel's adult line. It allowed to be more graphic, often more violent or sexual. This is gonna be just a wild book.
It'll definitely be. It'll definitely be an adult book. It'll be for mature audiences, and I'm stoked about it.
Yep. If you love Garth Ennis, this is right up your alley. Punisher was one of his babies.
Yep.
So this is gonna be interesting.
So this one I had to put on here because that's what I thought with May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. This is Grimm Fairy Tales, May the 4th. Pinup special. So it's going to be,
mostly art, not a lot of story.
Yep, it's their pinup special. It's mostly art, but it'll be probably characters from the Grimm. Zenscope is the company that does a lot of the Grimm fairy tale stuff, and it'll probably be a lot of those characters dressed as Star Wars characters.
Got it. Okay.
So if you're into art, and especially art with ladies and Star Wars, then this is probably right up your alley.
Your Star Wars pick and my Star Wars pick are going to be a little different.
Well, I only threw this on here. I probably won't pick this up. I'm not I do like Zenscope as a company. A lot of their books that I have purchased are really good. I mean, honestly, a lot of their books are female led. They're female character driven books, but the books that I have read have been pretty good. I don't know if I'll pick this one up, but I just knew it was May the 4th. They planned ahead. That was one of the things I liked about this, is that they made their free this week and with free comic book day, because I think this is a free comic book day. That
really
too,
okay. Yeah.
And I was like, well, that was very clever. They planned way ahead.
That's cute. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
They had to put some forethought into that. So that was worth mentioning.
Yeah.
Yep. That'd be thinking ahead. If you're into annuals, Nightwing annual is coming out this week as well.
Yep.
I'm not particularly a Nightwing guy, but I know a lot of people are.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about about Nightwing. And here's the thing, I've been wanting to read Nightwing since issue 90, but I've been too afraid to jump in. Annuals are a great place for you to jump in. It kind of gives you an overview of what's going on currently.
Yep.
It's not necessarily tied to anything, and also they're just bigger books. They're just bigger books.
Yep. And then this one also has a pretty sweet variant cover.
Yeah, that looks dope. That's always a big fan of Nightwing. Yeah.
Great cover. So if Nightwing's your thing, better go pick up that annual.
Yeah.
Another one that just kind of caught my attention was this Robo Force. It just looks kind of fun. It's the future.
Who's publishing
it's
this?
robots. It's I believe this is Oni Press. Let me pull it up here.
Oh,
I think this is an Oni Press book. No wonder I can't find it.
Yeah,
a lot of their stuff has been really good.
Yeah, they're going to do the new EC Comic stuff.
Oh yeah, that's right. We talked about that in a previous episode.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm loving the robots design. It has kind of a kit bash, kind of a chaotic feel to all of it. I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks fun. It's Oni Press. Sorry, it took me a minute to pull it up. Had to find it. It's written by Melissa Flores. But it looks like it'll be a fun book. It's called the Nasal Verse Begins Here. An explosive new universe of toy and animation icons leaps into action with the unstoppable Robo Force leading the charge. So it looks like a fun book.
Are these based off like old toys that like didn't get off the ground or something?
Let me see if it says. It doesn't.
Okay. Let me see.
Yeah, I'm not really seeing anything. I don't want to take too long scanning through.
Yeah. RoboForce toys. Research. Yeah.
So maybe
these are old vintage toy. Okay. So
well, there we go.
That gets me more excited. Is I like the idea of like this is based off something. The thing it's based on probably wasn't that good or wasn't that super popular, but and if you're into it, maybe I'm wrong, but like that's the thing I'm into. It's not like the big property where we have to be kind of safe. No, get weird with this. This is what I want. Okay, and Oni Press. I like. All right, I'm about it.
Heck yeah. All right, this is you. This is all you. Sonic.
So the regular Sonic the Hedgehog books have been paused till this ends, and it is the first classic era, which is just anything before Sonic Adventure 1. Early Sonic the Hedgehog, it stars Fang the Hunter, who is one of your antagonists of the newest games, but it's silly, it's fun. He's trying to find the mythical 8th Chaos Emerald, which doesn't exist. Sonic is playing a big background in the back. He's barely in it. And it's just a ton of fun. It's the last book in this 4-series mini. What I like about the Sonic Hedgehog minis is they're always 4 issues. They always get right to the point. It's big, it's bombastic. And then once this is done, next month you can go get Sonic the Hedgehog 71 and get right into it.
Get right back into it.
Yeah, it's a good jumping in point.
That's interesting that they pause it for the miniseries, but also
just this one. This is the first time they've paused for a miniseries. Maybe it's
an experiment.
Yeah, what slight history. So I've been reading all the Sonic the Hedgehog, like Archie stuff, and I'm trying to move into the British Sonic the comic. But what they used to do is they would do these minis alongside the main one and alongside all the sub-series stuff. And what it leads into is me reading an Excel spreadsheet about when to read books at what time. And it's a nightmare. And I think what they're trying to do is because like we get some really interesting stories and some really interesting writers writing these miniseries. I think IDW wants these to be read. So pause the regular series, go read these fun miniseries and come back.
Yeah, that's smart. I mean, that's kind of some smart marketing. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Man. This one really caught my interest. The scale trade. Because what it is, it's in the future, and dinosaurs are a big part of society. Or not dinosaurs, dragons are a big part of society, and they're becoming an endangered species.
Okay.
And they're highly, dragons are highly respected and highly endangered species. And in this story, in this comic, young idealist joins the federal agency tasked with managing dragon populations. He quickly discovers that the entire system is corrupt. After seeing firsthand the cruelty of the new system, The newly radicalized dragon savior takes matters into his own hands. It's written by Steve Orlando from Wonder Woman and Spider-Man 2099, and he teams up with Megan Hung from Star Wars Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So it's kind of a fantasy meets reality.
If that's available digitally, I might pick that up digitally. And that honestly, I don't know anything about it. I hope it's a political and allegory for radical environmentalism. I'm excited for this. This is what I'm about.
This looks like it could be a very interesting book. I'm all about it. I haven't heard of the company. The company is what is the company? They have it listed as other.
No, up top it looks like it's Magma. Yeah, I've never heard of Magma.
There we go. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Going to be probably a super independent book here.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Space Ghost. I'm excited about this one.
I'm interested in this. It is. So if you've been to a comic book shop, there has been a lot of pull about this. I've seen a lot of ads for this. It looks like it's going to be Dynamite's next big thing. Dynamite's been pulling a lot of like Disney and I'm trying to remember like Gargoyles. That's also Disney, but a lot of like comic cartoon characters.
Yeah, cartoon characters.
Characters and Space Ghost. I don't know about you. When I think Space Ghost, I do think of Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Yep. Absolutely. Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Which is a comedy. This looks to be a serious action book. I'm kind of hoping it's pulpy. It is just the big book. So I'm interested in this.
Yeah,
it's the big book from Dynamite. Yeah.
Yep. I think I'll probably be picking this one up. Yeah. And the art, just that cover looks amazing.
Yeah. I've been seeing a ton of variants of this book. Like is
that is one thing about Dynamite. If you know anything about Dynamite, when it comes to they love their variant covers.
Yep, they do.
Almost every, and it's not just number ones. It's like every issue.
Every book. Yeah.
Number one will have more than the rest, but every book will have, it seems like 5 or 6 variants.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I'm interested. This
is your Star Wars pick.
I'm
definitely
interested.
Different than mine.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. This is partly. I like Star Wars comics. I do. I particularly also love the Dark Horse era. I've been meaning to get into the Marvel stuff. I have a few volumes of Darth Vader downstairs I need to read. But partially, it is the 25th anniversary of Episode 1, and the day before it, I am going to see the Star Wars Episode 1 reissue into theaters for the second time, because I saw it back when it came out in 3D.
Oh, that's awesome. This reminds me.
Wasn't.
This reminds me that there was a little bit of news this week. There's a couple things. Lord of the Rings is making a big resurgence this year.
Specifically, the extended editions in 4K, which has never come to theaters. And so, or actually, I don't think there is a 4K version of that. So I'm going to go and watch that.
Yeah, that's going to be cool, because I don't know if you read anything up on it, but they're releasing them one day apart.
Yes.
So part 1 comes out Friday, part 2 comes out Saturday, part 3 will come out on Sunday. So it's a whole weekend long event. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's June 7th, 8th, and 9th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
I'm in. So, let's go.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'll be on the road for comedy so I probably will not get to catch them all in the theater, which is a huge bummer. But another thing I saw regarding Lord of the Rings is that they've got a video game coming out.
Yes, that I'm also aware of.
Where you're going to basically live in a hobbit society, and it's kind of like my take was it's kind of like Sims but with hobbits.
It is looking to be, at least in my brain, it is a why can't I think of words today? It is Stardew Valley. It looks to be a lot like Stardew Valley. By the way, a little bit about this comic. It is the 25th anniversary comic of Star Wars Episode 1. It seems to be quite a few stories. And actually, one of them is by Darth Vader scribe Greg Pak. I had to double check. And I have his Darth Vader books downstairs, so I'm probably going to read those books.
Surprised that this is the 25th anniversary already. It doesn't feel like this movie came out that long ago.
I was a kid. So my Star Wars history is, as a kid, I was always afraid of computer-generated stuff or practical effects. Now I love it. But like as a kid, my dad would watch the Star Wars VH1s, and I would be in the other room just afraid of all the monsters.
I mean VHS. VH1 was a.
Did I say VH1? Shoot,
you did.
VHS. I'm sorry.
My dad would watch them on VH1. Well, maybe he did. Maybe they aired them. I don't know.
It was the non-specialized editions on VHS, and I was afraid. And my mom and dad went on a date to go see Episode 1, and my dad would then sit me down and tell me the entire story. They didn't like it. So the very first Star Wars movie I saw was Episode 2. So I have this weird nostalgic love of the prequels. Like, I don't think they're great movies, but I love them. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited. Like, I'm honestly pumped and counting down the days to go see Episode 1 in theaters again.
Well, that'll be a movie I definitely won't go see in theaters.
I will. I'm going with my best friend that I saw the last time it was released, and I'm excited. I can't.
I love it. I love that for you. I love that for you.
Another one of mine.
Picks. Yep. Superman.
Yep. So again, with Action Comics 1060, they're doing smaller chunk stories, like usually 3 issues, with the exception of House of Brainiac. House of Brainiac is combining Superman and Action Comics. And
which is funny to me because they're literally the same thing.
It's that
in a lot of ways.
If you want to go back into this, actually, Action Comic is the whole Superman family, but this harkens back to me the Triangle era, the 90s of Superman comics, were like Superman, Man of Steel, Superman, Action Comics, and Supergirl. Supergirl would all have a little triangle, just like in this one, and say, like, this is the story that's happening. This is where you need to read next. This is number 2 of this story. Mm-hmm. And this is a one-off, a special House of Brainiac. Brainiac, since DC Rebirth, has been not around. It's Superman's biggest villain. And it looks to be like there is hundreds of different Brainiacs. And they all have Lobo's race, which previously Lobo was the only version of that. And they are trying to use chaos to take over the Earth and capture all the superheroes, including Lex Luthor, and they're putting them in tiny bottles. And this is the beginning of the story, and this is just a special that takes place between this week and next week. And I'm excited. These books have been fun. Like, Williamson has also been doing the Superman side of the story and also Transformers. He's the Transformers writer. It's just a lot of fun and fast paced, and I've been digging this. This is what I want.
I like it. This is a book I won't pick up. I don't like Superman. Superman's probably my least favorite superhero.
I adore Superman. As you can tell, I adore Superman, and this is exciting.
Well, I'm again, just like with the Star Wars movie, I'm excited for you.
I'm glad.
All right, well, that's going to wrap up New Comic Book Day. Obviously, there's a ton of other things. We could go on and on. There's a bunch of number 1s coming out. There's a bunch of continuations. But we also want to talk about Free Comic Book Day. And then with Free Comic Book Day as well, there's a ton of free comic book comics. And we can't talk about all of them. Obviously, we don't. We
so many.
This would turn into like a 5-hour podcast. If we were doing that. But
so if you're new to comics, by the way, Free Comic Day, it used to be full-size comics. Sometimes now, not as much. They're a bit smaller.
They do have a bigger selection.
Yeah, way more than what it used to be.
Yeah, it used to just be like a handful, and now it's like there's a lot.
Yeah,
but they're basically, if you're new to comic books, New Comic Book Day or Free Comic Book Day is a great way to go kind of see what comics are all about, because what they are is they're samples of some of, almost, the major companies put they'll put little samples together of some of their mainline characters from that company, or they'll do just stuff specific for New Comic Book Day. They use our Free Comic Book Day. Keep saying New Comic Book Day, but they use Free Comic Book Day as a way to introduce stuff that's upcoming. So you get a little promo.
Last year we had the introduction of Blade's daughter, which then had a small mini series.
Yep.
This is a new Conan book. And what's great about Conan is you never need context for Conan. And
been around for so long.
He's just a barbarian. And
I'd be curious to see how many Free Comic Book Day comics Conan has, because he has almost every year they do one.
Also with Free Comic Day, you never need context. Like, they give you all the context you need.
They make that book. It's a one-off situation, so you don't need. Like you said, you don't need it. I'm not a big Doctor Who fan, but I did want to highlight this. I figured of course you're a Doctor Who.
I'm getting into it. I'm actually starting, and
I watched the early seasons. Definitely liked it. I just it's so far behind. But Doctor Who, this will probably be a fun one. If you're into Doctor Who, that's a good reason to go down to Free Comic Book Day.
And if you're not, this is a new Doctor. This is the start of the new Doctor. So great starting point.
Yep, absolutely.
This was a web comic that was sold officially through Popeye. And this is a smaller version of it, like a cut of it. And it's an origin story about how Popeye lost his eye. And the art's real cool. It looks like a lot of fun. It looks like a big action book. It looks manga inspired. I'm down to clown. I was gonna buy this book when it came out digitally, which looked like the only way it was available. So I want this to have a physical copy of at least part of it.
Yep, I'll probably if it's available, I'll probably grab it. Because it does look fun. Another old character coming back, Flash Gordon.
Again, Mad Cow with Dick Tracy and with Flash Gordon. Honestly, this looks like a lot of fun.
Bringing back the classics.
There's also a Flash Gordon newspaper comic that's going to be more humor based coming.
Really?
Out. Yeah.
Wow, that sounds fun.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why my eyes just started itching all of a sudden.
You're just getting weepy thinking about Flash Gordon.
Maybe, he made my eyes itch. Dried them out. It's Mad.
I love Mad. It's not new Mad. I just need you guys to know it's not. If you were like me and you got excited because you go on League of Comic Geek and you go, oh look, there's a new Mad book. It's not. It's reprints. But I'm gonna still do it because I'm hoping one day they bring Mad back. But I'm excited for this.
Yeah, and even if they don't, at least you get a little taste of what they were.
A little fun. Yeah.
A little fun. And it's always cool to, a lot of Free Comic Book Day is to introduce new people into comic books. So it's cool that people can get a taste of something that was so iconic in, pop culture.
Yep.
And the final book for for Free Comic Book Day, this one I'm kind of excited about, is Ultra Duck. It looks like a space fighting. I mean, I like my ducks, man.
Yeah,
I got my Darkwing duck, my Nega duck, the Justice.
This is
ducks.
Also Dynamite, right?
Actually, this is not association to any of that.
Oh,
that's what's kind of interesting about it.
Okay.
To me, it was a different company, which let me pull it up here. I'll get it pulled up. Where did it go?
It looks to be by Arcana Comics.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why I was looking. I always forget that you got to go by Free Comic Book Day in the that's the title.
Yeah.
Here we go. Yeah, so whoops, that's not what I meant to hit. Ultra Duck. Yeah. Arcana Studio. Yep. Arcana Studio. Yep. It's the plot line is Carlos, a regular duck, just got dumped by his girlfriend. His life as a freelance do-it-all is going nowhere and must make some grown-up decisions. to get a real job and get his girl back. That is until he gets superpowers and becomes the only duck who can stop powerful creatures who's trying to destroy the city on a vengeful rampage. So it kind of seems like Darkwing Duck-esque in the fact where, you know, he's obviously Darkwing Duck doesn't have superpowers. He's like a Batman, a Disney Batman, but
kind of like Invincible here. We're getting some like
so that would be, it's like a cross between Darkwing Duck and Invincible.
Yeah, looks good.
Yeah, it does. Like, it looks like it'll be fun. And again, all these last few books that we talked about are from Free Comic Book Day. There are a ton more. I didn't bring up images, but just to give you kind of an idea that you've got all kinds of Marvel stuff. You know, you've got Snoopy's got a book coming out for the kids. You got a Pokemon adventure coming out.
Yeah, I saw that one. That looked really good.
One Piece has got something come out. Monster High. You got Marvel Voices. You got the Atlas Comics Library.
Yeah.
It just keeps going and going and going. Johnny Quest, Class Action, Sneak Peek. Stranger Things has got a
Stranger Things has a combination with what looks like an older Hellboy book, so that's going to be a lot of fun.
Got Far Cry, So there's a little. That's one thing that's really cool too about Free Comic Book Day. There's literally something for everyone.
Yes,
there's so many different genres of comics, and then there's all the way from kids comics to comics that are more for mature audiences. One that I'll just kind of mention too, Free Comic Book Day, you got Blood Hunt, which we just talked about.
Yep.
Blood Hunt, X-Men #1.
Yes, with Gail Simone. That's the one I was excited for.
And it's free.
It's free. It's probably going to be the first few pages of that, and go check it out. Go early because it's going to go away.
Oh yeah, you want to get to your comic book shop right away. Free comics, unless it's a big shop, they tend to go real quick. I've been to comic book shops where there was lines to get in. They literally had to stand in line, go in, pick your stuff, and pretty much leave. Get out. Get out of the way.
And if you're one of the scalpers that are trying to resell these big name books that are free, don't reevaluate what your life is. And don't do that.
And also, don't do that because they're literally usually not worth anything.
Yeah.
So you're not going to resell them because they're so mass produced.
Like there was the Bloodstain daughter of Blade. I remember I got that book and then I went and I saw people online were scalping that book for like hundreds of bucks. And I go, don't do that. Don't do that because you took it away from somebody who maybe that would be how they got into comics. So don't do that.
Yeah, I agree. Don't do that. Don't do that. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of this edition, whatever you want to call it, this show, podcast, whatever we are now, of Panel Picks. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope if you could, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Leave us a review wherever you leave reviews. We would really appreciate that. Share this with your comic book nerd buddies. Share it with your comic book shops. Tell them all about it. Help us get the word out there. We're trying to grow this community, and we need all the help we can get. You can catch me, Debub Comedy, everywhere on social media. My website, debubcomedy.com. Jeremy, where are you directing people?
Plum Jeremy everywhere. That's not Twitter. And let's have some fun.
All right. And until next week, keep supporting your local comic book shops.
Woo-hoo.
And enjoy Free Comic Book Day.
This has been a Tape Deck Media production. Thank you for listening.